Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert Mod Pack playthrough action for Minecraft 1.12.2. As always, we are joined by our lovely avatar zombie Steve. When last I left you, we were looking at starting the daunting task of, let's see, what did I want to show? Oh yes, making the Advanced Metallurgic Fabricator so that we could get into Ender IO and some other stuff. And this takes a ton of junk. So I've started upgrading my facilities a bit to make this task easier. And I've also started, fiddling around with getting some of it made. So I do have the top thing, the machine controller made. But let me show you some of the stuff I had to do or wanted to do just to make things better. So last time we were up here, I only had the one bank of automated tools down here. What I've done here is I upgraded my pulverizer to Signalum and put in 3 speed upgrades. So that sucker's a beast now, and I've added at least one more thing to it. I've filled up the alloy interface here, so it's got now electrum and dark steel and fused quartz and electrical steel and constantan. Those are things I needed to make while I was on this little journey. I created a compactor and upgraded it to make it a gear working die, so it is specialized in gear working and has some speed in it. And so what I'm going to be doing later is making a bunch of patterns, several for making gears. Again, I'm trying to sort of get things off of my metal press and then leave the metal press for probably just wires and rods. And then I also moved our macerator up here. I made 3 metal formers. I've got one metal former is going to be doing, it is set up to as an extruding metal former. So the extruding recipes are things like copper cable and shafts and things like that. So it's set up for that, and so far I've got copper cable, tin cable, and iron shafts in there, all things that I will have needed or will need. For the second one here, I've got it set up as rolling, and I've got a bunch of plates. It's already filled up with plate stock. And for this guy, I have it set up with also for rolling, but for this one it's making various item casings. So that's all new. I moved the compressor up here. So far it's just compressing advanced alloy, but I'll probably be adding more recipes to that. I moved the induction smelter up here. Don't have anything in it yet, but it's all there and ready to go. And I just sort of got prepared. I'm going to be making probably my next bank of things right through here. This is all going to be cluttered and weird, but this is my first time doing all this stuff, so how I want to get it organized, I'm not exactly sure yet. So right now I'm just trying to keep, make banks of stuff that can all feed into the same item ducts for sending the items back down to a chest to be imported back into the ME system. And, keep our backs to this power, which I have coming through here. So I'll spread that power out, down this stripe and this stripe, and put another several machines here and another several machines there. I've already got 2 or 3 I want to move up or make. So automated crafting is coming along. Also wanted to automate the empowerer some. So this is what I've got so far. I'm down near bedrock here. So just lifted it up off the ground to do some stuff. Again, this is all just sort of me trying to figure things out. I keep getting the urge to tear everything down and build a real base somewhere. But right now it's just trying to do what I can do. So what we've got here for the Empower automation is we've got a chest. I've made my first Ender IO item conduits so that I could actually whitelist things. So I've got extract always on, and insert, so everything comes out of this chest and then goes up there, and then the finished product comes back down into the chest. I've got filters on for insert, so I will only insert the thing that goes on the center. And the same thing out here, I have filters in place to make sure that, for instance, if these are so if we take a look at it, these are the 4 display things for this recipe to make empowered Palace Crystal, and then this is the center block. So the center block I've set up to only take Palace Crystal, and then each of the cardinal directions I set up to only take one of these 4 things. So if I throw cobalt in, the cobalt will go to this one because it's whitelisted. The dense lapis plate will go to this one, and etc. So what that lets me do is, you can see congealed goes to that one. So what that lets me do is just basically throw all the components in here, and it'll auto-populate them up top and then bring them back down. And then also I've got one power cell that I've hooked up here, and then I'm just routing power to all 4 of the things. And I just realized I could have done that slightly easier. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I tried it out once and it seems to work, so let's try it 3 times in a row, see what it does. So I just spam everything in there. You can see, I'll get up somewhere taller. So you can see everything populated up there, and it's going. And then it pulled one down and it put up a center one again. And that seems to be working just fine. So if we look in here, we got 3 more empowered Palace crystal blocks. And I can, I probably will at some point put ME import, an ME interface on this and run ME cables up here, or move this whole structure somewhere more appropriate for ME. But for right now, I don't think you make it, at least currently, I'm not making so much of this stuff that I need to automate it much further than this right now. I think I'm going to be happy just being able to like put in stacks of crap, stacks of all the 5 components, and walk away and let it finish making its stuff without having to click on each station. So that makes me happy. And whenever I make a new recipe, I'll have to, if I look at Estonia blocks, these are the 4 components for it, so I'll have to program the filters for the display cases and for the display stands, pardon me, and the Empower. So I'll just have to add these to the whitelist, and then again I can dump all 5 of these in and pop those out. So I'm pretty happy with how that turns out. And just a shout out, I didn't do it exactly the same way or anything as the Minecasters, or I think the Minecrafters, I think is what they're called on YouTube. But they're the ones that showed me that you could use the Ender IO cables and the filters to get the right thing in the right spot. So let's see. So that's going on. There is, I actually need these broken down. So we got a machine controller, and now I need to start working on all the rest of this stuff. Definitely this little couple hour break that I took to, get more of my automation set up, get more of my ME run machines upstairs set up, get this a little more user friendly so that I could just plop stuff in and get stuff out. That's all been good. But yeah, now it's back to grinding through this stuff. And I'm sure as I look through these recipes, I'm going to find that some of these things I need to do even more automation and make more machines and get more stuff in the ME automated. So this is probably going to be a big break, but I will jump cut here. And after a couple more hours of farting around, I'll come back and show you how much further I've gotten. Be right back. And I am back with a little bit more progress. So again, we're working on the Advanced Metallurgical Fabricator. I was getting a little confused by this list because it seemed to change a bit on me, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but I think you have options here, and I don't think you need to, I think it mixes and matches these options. So one of the things you might see on the list is, like, if you look at the bottom three things on the list, it's cycling from normal to big to reinforced to big to huge. And so I think all of those are available for any of the machines, so you can mix and match it probably as you want. It's for fluid input, energy input, item input, and so item output. And so I'll probably just go ahead and make the top size, the huge size of all of these, just because knowing this mod pack, I will eventually need it. And then on top of that, the 6x mutagen was confusing me for a moment, but if I look at the picture and look through the windows, when you have windows on it, it looks like you actually fill the center of it with liquid mutagen. So I went ahead and made, first of all, I projected a preview out on the floor here. So it's going to be sort of a big beast. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. And I went ahead and made a mutagen producer. So we got one of those. This is a really simple machine from Gentistry. But basically you just put in redstone or glowstone and it makes mutagen. So 60, you can see here I have 6,000 millibuckets, or 6 buckets of mutagen, and that was from 60 redstone. What am I doing? Oh, I'm flying. I wondered why I was zooming around. So I've got that. I'm just going to pull that tank down and carry that around with me so that I can bucket the mutagen into the structure as I'm building it. So I've got, I want to make a windowed version, so I've got 9 hardened platinum glass. I've got the controller, I've got the mutagen. So now I'm looking at making a bunch of machine casings and then all of the inputs and outputs, and 4 vents and 2 machine circuitry, and the 6 blocks of fiery metal. I don't think I have enough for 6 blocks of the fiery metal. Oh, I do. Nice. Alright, so I have that. Luckily we got enough of that from recycling mob dropped fiery metal in our arc furnace. Fiery metal armor. So that's done. Let's take a look at some more of this stuff. At modular machines. And let's look at the vent. Yeah, that's right. This has this annoying thing in it. But I did go ahead and automate some of the work on this. So if I go copper, I can craft a bunch of these things. Get that started. So that will help me get through all of these coils that I need to make. These machine casings are a little bit brutal because each of them takes platinum I've got, electrical steel I can make, empowered Palace crystal I can make. I did have to, another thing I did in the short intermission on this episode, I moved my digital miner out to the ocean to get some sapphires, because that takes sapphires in the empowerer. But as I showed, we got that going now. So the thing that's actually annoying here is the pulsating crystal, because each of these batches of pulsating nuggets takes an ender pearl. So we're eating up ender pearls noticeably at this stage. Down to 29, so I've used several already. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that, and as we go down, I've got 31 pulsing iron nuggets, so I'm getting there, pulsating iron nuggets, but definitely got to keep an eye on my ender pearl, and might have to actually just go do some night hunting for endermen with my laser gun. They come pretty quick with the laser gun. I usually get like anywhere from, I don't know, sometimes I get as many as 3. I would say average 1 or 2 per enderman. So it's not bad with the luck 3 on it for extra looting. But yeah, so now we should be able to pop out some more of these. I'm going to need 4 of these, which needs 4 of these heaters. And I think I've also got this tin item casing. Did I not do the 10 item casing? Well, nuts. So let's go ahead and do this the hard way, but then I'll go set up a thing. I haven't made you guys watch me set up too many things, so we'll just do that real quick. So one of these, it's going to make 2 of those. Drop a pattern. That's going in. Which one is that going in? It's going in this guy. Great. Tin was the only one I didn't make, and that was the next one I needed. All right. We got it now. It's all good. So let's see. All right, is that enough? Guess I only needed one. Oh wait, I need 4. Oh wait, and how many of these damn vents do I need? This recipe makes 2, and I need 4, I think. 4 vents, so I need 2 recipes, which means I need 8 of those. So I need 5 more of them. Cowabunga. Anyway, this is getting boring for you guys, so I will pause there. I'm going to take a look at the runtime. This may be getting towards the end of the episode. We did make some progress, got some automation done, getting a start on our Advanced Metallurgic Fabricator thingy. So I'll take a look at the runtime, do some crafting off camera, and if I get any further, I will show you what I got. All right, and that was a bit of a marathon, but I think we've got everything we need now to make the Advanced Metallurgic Fabricator for modular machinery. Some of the sticking points for me at this point in my development was basically everything took pieces of machine casing, and the machine casing all took pulsating crystals, which all took almost a ingot of pulsating iron, which is an ender pearl. So basically I ended up using maybe 30 or 40 ender pearls for this. And so I did run out, and I had to go out and do some night hunting and shooting of endermen, but the gun has luck 3 on it, and that seemed to go pretty fast. So I think I've got everything I want here, or everything I need here. So now we're just gonna, I guess, work on it. So this is what we're gonna make. That's the power input. I did run into one thing. So it says here, if we look at it, that you can see that there's like the bottom, for instance, the bottom 3 says huge, 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 normal, 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 reinforced, reinforced, reinforced. So one thing I did run into was that I'm going to use all normals because I was trying to make the actually additions laser relays and to upgrade the normal ones to the larger size ones. And if we look at that, so I needed item relays, item laser relays. And it says that you use the atomic reconstructor. So basically you throw it in there and it switches the energies to the fluid. Throw it in again, and it turns the fluid into the items. And that's in theory how it's supposed to work. However, I was having no luck with that. So if I throw this down and hit the button, it's not turning it into the fluid like it's supposed to. So I know that this was an addition and that you used to be able to craft them, but if I come up here, it's not working at crafting them either. So something might be a little funky there, or I'm missing something. I don't think I need a lens in the atomic reconstructor or anything, so maybe that's just a bit glitchy. So the bottom line was, I usually like to make the best version, but now I'm going to use all the normal fluid, a normal item, normal energy input, and normal item output, just because I couldn't get the laser relays required to upgrade them to work. But anyway, so let's start laying this bad boy down. So that's going to be the power side. Let's see if I consult my blueprint here. Looks like we have, I don't know if this is the fluid or I don't know if that's the fluid or the item, but I'm going to guess it's fluid. And I'm going to have an output. And we're going to have, oops. So the bottom is a 2x3 of fiery metal. And then up front we've got what I think is the item output and the controller above it. The only thing I'm not really sure about is if the item input is in back. Since these two look so much the same, the fluid input and the item input look so much the same, I'm not exactly sure which goes where, but we will try this and see what happens. So we do that. We need a bunch of these guys. I went ahead and made the windowed version. The hardened platinum glass ended up using less of the casing, so therefore less pulsating iron, therefore less into pearls, so I went that route. And I'm assuming that I just sort of dump the mutagen in there. So guess we'll just give that a try. Get a bucket out. Alright, so now we have 6 mutagen in there. And let's see, what's the rest of it? Pick that up for now. So then it's basically all casings around the outside edge, and then vents and circuits on the top. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then circuitry, vent, 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 vent. And structure found. So the structure is found. Blueprint not found, so we got to put the blueprint up there. I think we're in business. I've never made one of these and never used one of these. It says status missing input item. I'm not sure what that means, but hey, we've got one. So now, in theory, we can go we've got to get, next thing I have to do is basically get, let's see, so all of this, let's back up a second. So all of this is to make titanium ingots. And for that, we need carbon plates that I can make, and we know how to make that. I need a bunch of salt. I did make some of this out of some of the PAM salt, but I might need to make a bunch more of it. Magnesium ore, we've got some, and liquid chlorine. So it looks like electrolytic separator, which we have one of those. We might make a second one just so that we don't interfere with my melon biofuel farm. But we got to put brine into that, and the brine, probably go with salt into a nuclear craft melter. I don't want to make like one of those huge thermal evaporation towers unless I have to for now. So I think just to speed things up, we'll go ahead and make a melter, because that's something I can make real quick. So I think we're up against the time limit for today's episode, but looks like we may have successfully made a Advanced Metallurgic Fabricator. I'm sort of surprised it didn't morph into a multi-block and change. Everything's still listed as individual stuff. But anyway, it says it's good to go, except for a missing input item. So who knows? We'll get it figured out. So I'm gonna, in between this episode and next, I'm gonna make a nuclear craft melter. I'm gonna get a bunch of salt, gonna make some brine, and the rest of the stuff. And when we come back next episode, we will try to make some titanium ingots. See how that works out for us. So until next time, thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.